Okay, I guess we are live now. Let me quickly check. Hello, good evening, everyone. Uh, let's start the session. We'll start in next 2 minutes. We'll wait for a few more people and we'll start. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, any query, you can let me know in the live chat, and I will try my best to answer. Yes, people are joining. Yes. Hello, Salab. Hi, Mehboob. Hi, Jinkya. Hello, Usha. Usha, I have one question. Company that. Okay, we'll take the questions in 1 or 2 minutes, Usha. Just allow me a couple of minutes. Okay, so before we start, can anybody confirm in the live chat, am I audible properly? Because in live, audio is more important. Hey, hi, Mohini. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Amia. Hi, PK. Hey, Ravi. Good to see you after a long time. I'm missing your YouTube comments. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, we'll start now. Okay, so we have some international audience. Hi, Tom. Good to see you, Rajesh. Okay, perfect. Let's start with the Q&A session. So this is another quick live session. So we'll talk about some questions that you have in mind. So we had the last live session on 18th of May, so it's almost 3 weeks. So if you have any questions that is running in your mind that you want to discuss, feel free to put in the chat session, and I will try my best to answer. There are few questions that needs a dedicated videos, but if some things can be discussed within few minutes, we'll take it that. Let me start with the first question by Usha. Companies that provide work from home in India. So Usha, first of all, there's no dedicated list as of now. Few companies are in hybrid mode. Few companies are working like one of the company Akamai. Okay, one of my friend I was talking to him yesterday. Now Akamai is doing um, for most of the teams completely work from home. Similarly, few companies are going completely in a work from home mode. Initially, they were completely offline. Then they went into the hybrid mode, and now they've started rolling out because they can see the productivity, plus they're able to save a lot of expenses, right? The employee cost is reduced, so they are able to see some good results. So there are few companies that always works from home that you need to check. I don't have the list ready right now, but you will find a lot of filters when you go to LinkedIn and other job portals. You'll find a full-time, part-time, hybrid, offline, online work from home. So you can filter that and then start applying. But just one suggestion, because of this work from home environment, don't lose any opportunity. If you're getting a hybrid also, you can go for it. Okay, because hybrid have its own advantages. You will be able to interact with the people. You will have some social connections that always helps. Work from home looks good, but it is more scary because I have seen people health is getting affected by sitting 10 hours, 12 hours. So if you are getting into hybrid mode, please prefer that. Can you please tell if you're starting a new batch for Cypress? Not now, Jyoti. Probably in July, if I get enough students. I'm expecting minimum 10. If about 10, we can start a new batch. Otherwise, I have few videos on Cypress. Playwright series about to complete. So after Playwright series, I will again resume the Cypress. When I started recording, Cypress was version 9. And right now, if I'm not wrong, let me share my screen. So right now, it's if I'm not wrong. Cypress 12. Yeah, 12.13.0. Lot of new updates. So we'll try to start a batch if possible. If yes, we'll continue with the latest one. Otherwise, the you'll find a lot of videos on YouTube, which is enough for Cypress. I have 5 hours of videos on Cypress dedicatedly. That will be more than enough. But yeah, I got your point. We'll try my best to start a new batch. Okay, so Ajit says today, could you please tell me about integration of Jira and Cucumber? See, Ajit, first of all, when you say integration, Jira have exposed their APIs. Okay, so you can use Jira APIs to create bugs, to create tasks, subtasks. Now integration is not limited only till Cucumber. So even if you're working with different tools, right, you just need to call the APIs. Once you get the result, you need to parse what are the responses you need, and you can update your test result. So you can integrate your Jira with not only Cucumber. You take any tool, you just need to make a API call for Jira. That's the only thing that you have to do. But there are multiple ways to do this. One is, if you're using Jenkins, you can do that in a post build action. But let's say if you're not using Jenkins, you want to integrate this in your framework, then you can mention in your after suite, not after class, because after suite will run once all your test suites will run. Then you can make a API call that these are the status, these are the test cases which is pass failed, and then finally make a API call. You have to use listener in this case. You'll find a lot of articles, video I have not recorded on this, but simple thing is Jira APIs. Jira APIs I have shown in my Rest Assured series. So please have a look. You will get some idea how to use Jira APIs. Venkatesh, hello sir. I'm 2017 pass out, mechanical engineering. I have done 3 months internship as manual test engineer. Am I get opportunity to work as a fresher? Not yes. Why not, Venkatesh? Only thing is you will start. You might start with a very low salary, but if you're very good in manual testing, then you can definitely get a job initially. Not very big MNCs, but startups you can approach. Okay, because in startups they need resources. So most of the people, they don't prefer startups, right, because of the work culture, sometimes the instability. But startups is still figuring out how they can hire the resources. Let's say even if somebody will approach me, right, startup companies, I will also think 10 times, because after a certain point you need job security, you need work life balance, everything. So don't target very big companies, target startups. You can easily get into it with a good salary, because startup have some fundings, right? Not all the startups, but yeah, pick some good startups. A startup has some I will say disadvantages as well, like too much of workload, not very organized, not very structured, but you will get a opportunity to do a lot of stuff in a startup. In big MNCs there's different teams for everything, so you'll get less exposure in big MNCs, right? But with startup there's no limit for learning, but only thing is you have to find out. Market openings. So Mehboob, market is picking up slowly. Good thing is, I've seen a couple of articles like Infogain is hiring 2000 plus employees. They got a very good project from different countries and they're hiring. Similarly, JP Morgan is also hiring, and the couple of students, they're in Canada, US, Australia, they're also getting openings, but frequency is less. But yes, calls are coming, so be ready. Upgrade your skill set. Hi Nikita, good to see you. I'm good. What about you? Java or Python, which is futuristic? See, when it comes to Python, definitely it will be very useful for DevOps. But if you are starting your career as testing, I would still prefer Selenium with Java, then JavaScript, and I will keep Python at last. Okay, so comparison: Java, JavaScript, then Python. But if you're starting with DevOps, Python first, then JavaScript. Mohini Singh, so may I know about some project that we can do as a manual tester to start? our journey as a fresher. See, Mohini, you don't have to wait for a specific project. Okay, if you want, you can use my sample application to create the test case. You will find a lot of bugs in my application for sure. So let me share my application URL. So this is the application URL that you can use, because you need to understand how to write the test cases, right? Before that, you need to understand first of all what is SDLC model, right? What is SDLC model? Then understand what is Scrum, what is Agile, and start writing test cases using some, not on the Excel, okay? Because Excel is fine just to get started, but you have to get good hands on how to work with Jira, how to work with Test Trail or any test management tool, because there you will you get multiple options. So you can start with Jira. You can take a start trial for 7 days and install either Zypher plugin or X-Ray and start writing the test cases. So definitely you need some guidance initially. You need somebody who can review your test cases. But again, before writing the test cases, understand what is epic, what is story, what is task, what is subtask, what is sprint. Okay, when you start a sprint, again, a lot of things you follow story points, right? So not only focus on one application, understand the complete flow and pick any application, because testing is not restricted to only one application. It could be web, it could be API, it could be mobile, desktop, right? Anything. Obviously, test cases will be different for different scenarios, but understand how exactly we have to work end to end. Sunil says, why nowadays not getting any testing interview calls? Is that hiring is completely freeze? I'm a bit worried about the future. Kindly suggest. So, Sunil, first of all, not completely freeze, as I mentioned. Openings are less. If you are still not getting calls, it could be multiple reasons. First of all, it could be your 3 months of notice period. It could be your resume is not having that skill which is expected in the market. It could be you have the skills, but let's say you just mentioned one tool for each section. So now, since now market is tough, a lot of competition, you need to have multiple tools for each category. For example, let's say you have written a couple of technical skills for each section. Explain at Do the mastery at least for one tool and additional one tool. For example, Selenium is your primary, have advantage if you mention Cypress. Let's say you understand Postman, mention rest assured. You understand BDD, so at least mention Cucumber, one additional framework. TestNG, good to have if you understand JUnit, but for TestNG it's fine. But when it comes to the primary tool, have one additional backup. So right now, along with Selenium, either add Cypress or Playwright. Apart from that, mention the other required skill set, like you should be comfortable with SQL, you should be comfortable with test management tool, you should be comfortable with all the other activities that we do, right? One CI tool you have to mention, one SCM version, SVN you have to mention. So you can use distributed SCM, which is your Git. Okay. Apart from GitHub, you can also mention Bitbucket. So the main part is you need to work on your resume as well. That is some skill set which is missing or not. Okay. So always scan the market first and then make the changes accordingly. Ajit, how to use AI with our test automation and which are the AI tools? See, Ajit, when it comes to learning, I don't think you will learn a lot using AI tools, because all the AI tools which is available in the market, they use AI models, right? They have a data models, so they will be doing everything. You just need to understand how the tool works. So it's not a skill set. It's just they will be giving a tool. Mostly tools are paid. You will automate the application, but there's no learning. So if you're learning AI tools, you can maybe start with Test Trigger. It's a very good. I have around 9 videos on Test Trigger. That's one of the AI powered uh, AI tool that can do the self discovery scenario. It can automate your test cases in a plain English. Tony says, hi Mukesh, when we are planning to start API automation from scratch. Also, is there any session available for engineers who are living in UK? So Tony, unfortunately, I don't have any session right now which is running for API automation. It's already planned, but no timing as such. So if you are getting some other sessions, So I don't want you to wait for next 2 months, 3 months. If you're getting some online sessions, Udemy courses, or some good resources, please go ahead. Any plans for DevOps? Yes, Mahesh, we are working on the content preparation part. So first of all, whenever we launch any batch, we have to understand not only what commands we are going to code. We have to design the complete syllabus from the scratch. For each syllabus, we have to prepare the content examples. Applications also we have to prepare that we can showcase in our batch. So that is taking some time. So soon we will update you about the DevOps course. What is your view on Playwright versus Selenium versus Cypress? So I will keep Cypress in one category, Playwright and Cypress in separate category. So Selenium with Java is having a separate demand altogether. But if you compare the separate stack, which is for JavaScript, Playwright, and Cypress, even though Playwright have more features, okay, open source with different options, but still I can see Cypress having more demand because of the simplicity and they came into the market little early, so they have an upper hand, they have a higher requirement. Mukesh got laid off in Feb, still not received any job, getting frustration nowadays. So, Raj, first of all, no need to panic, no need to blame yourself, no need to burn your bridges. Okay, so let's say some companies are doing layoff. So, always maintain your calm. Okay, it's okay to get frustrated for a week or okay for a few days, but come back to your zone again, come back to again what is missing. Understand, let's say if you want to start again, okay, what should be your skill set, what should be your starting point again. So initially generally you should start getting some referrals. Okay, directly getting calls is little tough, so if you get some referrals, then you will have upper hand. Always maintain your LinkedIn profile, understand where you stand at this moment. So let's say your, I'm assuming you have 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus whatever experience. Understand what is demand as per your experience. Understand, do you have that skill set or not? If not, build that and start applying. If you're getting rejected in interviews, that's a different thing. It means you're not able to perform well. But even if you're getting a single call, you should be able to crack. That should be your preparation. So instead of getting frustrated because of this, please, whatever things you can do, which is your skill set, you should focus. It's it is happening in Feb, not March, April, May, June. It's almost 4 months. Okay, so 4 months you can have, you could have completed so many things. So please don't spend much time on this part. Overthink is another disease. Come back to the action. And if any help needed, let me know. When I say help, I can help you to generate your roadmap, but ultimately actions you have to take. PK says how to handle spinner loading in Selenium Java. iframe is not loading. So when you say spinner loading, basically you need to use either fluent wait or you can use explicit wait. Generally for spinner or any kind of loader, I generally write my own method where until it's not getting invisible, I have to keep on waiting. Similarly, if iframe is not loading, you can put an explicit wait that until iframe, because in WebDriver wait, there's a dedicated method called frame to be available and switch to it. What it does, it will wait until the frame is not available. Once it is available, it will switch. So we have a predefined method for both, for element to be get invisible and for frame loading. So please use that. Ravi says, any upcoming session on GitHub Actions with respect to QA perspective? So I don't have any session planned. Maybe I can do that once I'm back from vacation, because from tomorrow till 13th I will be traveling. But I can give you my repository where all the actions are available. So if you go to my this repository and if you go to this actions, I have created 3 workflows. This is for schedule test. So let's say if you want to schedule your test using GitHub Actions, how you can do that. These are the workflow files available. You can directly use it. You can fork this repository and make the required changes. And so you can see it is scheduled one, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, last week, and so on. Similarly, I have the dependent test. how you can create dependency between the multiple jobs. And the one which is here is cross platform, how you can run the same test in Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. So let me give you this link. You can copy this and start using it. It's very easy to understand, but if you still need any help, let me know. Okay, questions are coming very fast. I might not be able to see all the questions. So in case if I miss any questions, I will take it separately. But if you want to take it on high priority, you can give me a super sticker, super chat so that I can get the comment on the top and I can reply. But if you can wait, please wait. I am picking the questions one by one. Okay, Salib says, as SDET, I am newly graduated. My question, when I apply for a job, they're asking for job experience. How to deal with it? See, Salib, when you say you're recently graduated, it means, let's say you're doing MS or any master's you're doing. So if you have a gap, you have to justify. Let's say you have a gap of 3 years, then you did master. Now you have to justify what you did in that last 3 years, right? So generally, to cover up, if you have really worked, you can mention these are your last job profiles. In case if you did not work, mention this. You spend that time on the learning part. You don't have experience in real time, but you understand the tech stack in detail. So I don't think it is too much issue, but you have to be very honest. I've seen many candidates, they have experience, but they're not able to crack interviews. But if you don't experience, but you have a good understanding of tool stack that is required for a SDET, you can still apply. Have you applied anywhere and you got rejected because of the interview process, or you're not even getting calls? Again, Salah, depends on the multiple factors, whether you are in India or in different countries. Every country have a different uh, process to hire. So in US, mostly, even if you have a gap, they consider it. Even if you're coming from different domain, they accept it. Only thing, you should be able to clear the interviews. Mahesh says, hi Mukesh, one of my friend have experience in ETL testing in Accenture. Due to project got worked, they said to resign. Can you please suggest? Currently, they don't have. So this is something which I cannot suggest right now. So the suggestion in terms of when you say what this person should do, or in terms of skill set, I'm confused a little bit. So Mahesh, this is little critical. Okay, your friend need help. So if you can ping me on my, if you don't have number, you can ping me or send a test email to my email. I will talk to your friend probably after 13th, and I can give him some advice. But let's connect after 13th. So this is my email. Drop an email and we'll connect with him. What is the best desktop application automation tool with Java? So this is something which is very unstable at this moment. Okay, multiple tools are available, but when it comes to maturity, they are still getting matured. Last time which I used is Tag UI is very good. Only thing is, it's a RPA based tool. So if you can use Tag UI, you can do desktop automation. So let me share that as well. So just search for Tag UI. You can do desktop automation using this. So very easy to use. You just need to write type, click, type, click. Right now they have given example of a web application, but you can use for desktop application as well. Okay, they have their own studio as well in case if you want to use it, and they have given a guide how you can get started. So Tag UI you can look. Otherwise, you can also check Auto IT, but again that is for Windows. I have used Tag UI in one of my session. In case if you look for my previous sessions, you will get some idea how Tag UI works. Hi Mukesh, current company culture, salary hikes are very good, but I want to work on API automation. Is it a good option to switch now? So Akash, I would recommend if you can wait It's not the right time to switch. If you are getting a good hike, you're happy with good work life balance, you can wait for some time. Once market's stable, then you can start applying. Only thing is, you have to be ready that whatever skill set is needed, you should be ready by then. Okay. So API automation, if you want to work, please pick Postman, end to end, rest assured end to end. And chances are, see, sometimes you think that you have to work on API automation, you might do the switch, but what if they do not give you enough project for API automation? In that case, what you will do? So do not wait that until you get a project, you will not start. You can take some APIs and start working on it. Only thing is, obviously your URL will change, the payload will change, authentication will change, but the concept will never change. I've seen many incident in my exam, last couple of years. They hired for automation engineer, but they're still doing manual testing, and it's very common scenario. So even if you're thinking in this manner, that I will switch because I want to work on this, chances are less. Currently in IT sector, just like recession. Avi Gupta, your question is not clear. Please ask again. Pre-engine. I have 4 years experience as manual. How can I move into automation? How can you clear the interview for automation QA? So pre-engine, first of all, whenever you're working, okay, it's always recommended that try to switch within the organization. Okay, since you have 4 years experience, instead of waiting to somebody will give you project, you can start automating your same application. Okay, then try to move within the org because internal movement is very easy. Now once you're comfortable with that, then you can give plan for a switch. But if you're working, it's very good chance that you have the real time exposure, you have the real applications, you will get a lot of challenges while automating the same application. In case if you don't have a web application, pick some application from the different teams and start automation. If you face any issue, fix it, and then move to the different team. Then you can switch to a different company. Now clearing interview is a different process. Generally, even if you have let's say automation experience, you should generally prepare 3 to 6 months, okay, for interviews. Because interviews is not only for automation, they will be asking you programming questions, they will be asking related to SQL API, they will ask you questions from different tool stack which you mentioned. So interviews preparation should be a separate journey. Dedicate 3 to 6 months for this. Do I need to learn Selenium and Cypress both? No, Sovik. Initially, you can start with Selenium, then pick Cypress. Okay. It's like you understand how one mobile phone works, then you can easily use different mobile phones. Obviously, UI will change, some features will be different, right? But start with Selenium, then use Cypress because it's a good combination. One tool from Java, one tool from JavaScript. Ashutosh, how much DevOps is required for automation testing? See, Ashutosh, there's nothing called how much. Okay, there's no limitation of the cloud that you can use. But very basic use case which I can explain you. So you should understand first of all how to deploy your Jenkins on a cloud. Now it could be any cloud, AWS, GCP, Azure, because you will be you will be needing a dedicated Jenkins instance in order to run 24 by 7. So you should be able to understand how to deploy Jenkins on a cloud. Now generally we don't uh, run all the test cases on Jenkins master. So you need to understand how to connect Jenkins master with slave. Okay, so master, 2 slaves minimum where your test will be executing. Or you will be needing a Selenium grid in order to maintain your infrastructure, because one option, you maintain all the browsers in that particular agent, or you create a separate grid. So book another system, maintain Selenium grid. So Jenkins will be pulling your code from GitHub, it will be running your test on grid. Now grid also can be done in multiple ways, with Docker, without Docker, with Kubernetes. So if you're using Kubernetes, you have to use Helm chart. So for Helm chart, you need to understand Kubernetes. Kubernetes itself will take time. So I will stop at Docker at this moment. So Jenkins, how to maintain your EC2 instances, then run Selenium Git with Docker, which will generate a container and you can continue. This is the bare minimum thing that you need to understand in order to use this basic. It's not a complete DevOps, but you're using some of the cloud services to run your automated test. But now, if you want to automate this process, the Selenium grid part you can do easily with the help of Terraform and Ansible, right? Suppose if you want to maintain the graphs or the previous trend reports, you can use again a different logging and monitoring tools as well. So there's no limit, but this is the bare minimum that you need. Okay, so I have a very good comment. Explode Selenium, rest assured API testing, SQL Server in Java, selectors, hub test, JUnit, test trigger, Jira, Trello, Radar, BDD framework, TDD. Okay, if you have really covered this, it means I can call you as a architect. The one thing which I can see is missing is mobile automation. So if you are able to complete this, you have two options. Either you can move to cloud, okay, DevOps, or you can start your non-functional areas. Start with performance, then security. Then you will be fully automation architect. I'm assuming you are telling me truth, but if this is the truth, very good job. You can also become a trainer like us. You can start the part-time teaching and other stuff. But it's good to switch to cloud. I'm working on automation testing and having a 4 years experience. How can I move to DevOps? See, Anuja, the same thing will be applicable when you want to switch from testing to DevOps, testing to development, development to testing. Internal movement is always easy. In this case, only thing is you have to convince your manager. So this thing I've seen multiple times. So whenever you have one-to-one meeting with your manager, whenever you create your development plans, generally we do once we start our year. So they generally ask you, what is your long-term vision? So you can mention that I want to move into DevOps in future. But before that, make sure you have enough interest. Make sure you understand what is DevOps. Not because it's trending, it looks very fancy, you are getting good attraction in cloud. No, first understand, because in DevOps it's all about configuration. Okay, not only configuration, it's a so many tool stack you will be integrating, no doubt. In terms of exposure, more exposure, and as compared to testing, good salary hike, more on site and all, but you should be comfortable. Step number 2, if you have some of your friends in the DevOps team, check with them, sit with them, understand how it works. If you have a team, otherwise you can see if your friends working in different companies, and if they have a DevOps team, try to work with them. If not, then you can take the online help, because online part is different. You will understand how tools works, how Ansible works, how Grafana, how Terraform, how Kubernetes works. But until you don't understand the real use case from the scratch till the end, you will not be able to connect the dots. Yeah, so follow this process. But if you're planning to DevOps, good move. But uh, you just have 4+ experience, I would recommend try to complete this automation stack first: web API, mobile, BDD frameworks, then plan for DevOps. Venkatesh, hi sir, need few information on locator auto healing. I want to implement in existing framework. See, Venkatesh, auto healing is nowadays available in most of the tools. This initially got launched by Catalan, self healing locators or auto healing. Now, if you want to implement this auto healing, you have to take multiple locators for any element, or you can use JavaScript executor, so you can get the complete node. Okay, so suppose there's an input type equal to this, ID equal to this, name equal to this, class equal to this. So you can get the complete using JavaScript executor. So first give a try with the first one, then second one, then third one. If nothing is working, right, or let's say the first one got changed, it will try for the second one. If this also it will go with the third one, and if everything is changing, then it will go with the partial. So you have to come up with a custom utility which do this. I have done this in my previous projects. Let me check if I have the code I can share. Otherwise you can write the logic. Quite straightforward. Rupa says, do you have any DevOps tutorial beginner to advanced? Not right now, Rupa, but there are a lot of good resources. uh, Technical Guftugu, you can check. There's a YouTube channel in Hindi. Tech with Nana, you can check. There's one more channel by Abhishek. I forget his full name. Tech with Shubham. So these are some good YouTube channel for the DevOps. There are multiple actually. I'm not able to recollect all the names. You can start. Which is better to learn as testing SQL? See, SQL is a structured query language. Okay, so MySQL, Aurora, Oracle, SAP, HANA, these are your databases. So SQL you need for all this. So you need to learn SQL in order to work with all these databases. Gayatri, I have 3 years of experience in web development from 2019 to now. I'm not working. What are the things I need to learn? Currently, I'm learning Selenium, TestNG, Java, SQL, Jira, API, Postman. Now you need to add Git, you need to add GitHub, you need to mainly focus on the framework. You need to also understand Jenkins and Selenium Grid. Now, since you have good experience in web development, you understand the coding, right? So for you, it's very easy to understand how this works. Only thing is you need to understand the complete end-to-end scenarios, how pipeline works from once the testing will start. Okay, so what are the different stages, when automation will be in the picture, and how your automation test will help. Because when you're coming from a dev background, right, you have to change your perspective, because testing itself is a separate process altogether. In web development or during development, we don't focus much on the testing, but here or the main bread and butter is testing. So understand the different use cases. Tool stack is one part, but once you understand the use cases, you should be able to clear the interviews. Even if you're not working, you have some gap because of some XYZ issues, it is acceptable. Can you give me a roadmap for a manual tester to learn automation testing? So Savik, this video is pending. I will upload this, but I will quickly give you one roadmap. Start with one of the programming language that is must, irrespective of which tool you're using. Even if you use Cypress, Playwright, or XYZ, or even Selenium, you need programming language. Start with a programming language, then pick that particular tool or library, then one unit test framework, some third party libraries which is required. Then you have to work on the framework, then you have to work on GitHub, then work on the Jenkins. Okay, and now understand how the infrastructure works. So if you're starting Selenium, understand Selenium Grid with Docker. These are the bare minimum things. Now if you want a complete roadmap, I can share a link with you. Okay, if you understand that part, that is more than enough. Let me give you link right away. So please follow this. Any upcoming session on performance testing? No, Mehboob. You can refer few of my videos on JMeter by Naveen Automation Labs, by Raghopal, Automation Step by Step. JMeter, not many people have uploaded, but no plan as such for performance. Boring buddies. Having 10 plus experience, please suggest which path is good for future test architect, test manager. See, this is a very personal call. If you want to be in a tech side always, if you are very passionate about tools, right, how to solve a particular problem, you like the tech, then go with the test architect. But if you are someone who like to discuss, talk, you understand how human behavior psychology, you love to interact with people, right, you understand how to help somebody, not technically, because even if a test manager have to have some idea so that they can guide the team. But for me, my personal choice is I will go on the architect side because I love tech. But generally people also go with test manager, which is also a good role. Only thing is you have to see the growth part. So again, few companies have a higher requirement for the test architect, right? Even if you target up different countries, test architect have the more demands, because test manager, like, it's just a very generic skill. Only thing is you have to be very good with the person. Okay. So this is my perspective, but you need to take a call. I'm planning to come online with my ex manager, so she can give you a lot of insight, because she started as a tester, then she moved into PO role, then she became manager, senior manager, and she's now VP for one company. So I've requested a podcast. If she accepts, soon I will come live with her, so she can add more value. Moria DevOps roadmap for learning any video. So Moria, not latest video, but back in 2020, I came live with one of my friend Akash Kumar. He has given a complete roadmap to learn DevOps. Even in my last live, I have given a roadmap to learn DevOps. So you can check. Just go to my channel, search for Mukesh Otwani and Akash Kumar. You will get one video. There we have given the roadmap. This part we have already covered. How to handle spinner we covered. Any plans to create video on security testing? So Black Duck, 45, Vora Code, Shrink, these are so many different tools. So in even in DevOps, you will be focusing more on the security, DevSecOps. Okay. So this is a separate area altogether. No videos planned as such, but you will get a lot of videos. See, Black Duck, 45, these all are paid tools. So for static scanning and dynamic scanning, I would recommend you can start with Zap. Well, not video from my side, but Navin Automation Lab have one video on Zap. You can also refer one channel called Saksham Chaudhary, the computer guy. He also have a lot of videos on security testing. I don't have any link, but I will check if I find some good resources. Hey, hi Anusha, good to see you. Any plans to resume JMeter series? No, as of now. Uh, but if you need a JMeter one, you can refer Raghopal series and Navin Automation Labs also. He has more than 10 videos. I have 7 videos. Raghopal have series, updated series. See, the few questions which is getting repeated that I'm not taking. So in case if you missed, please go back and check the previous chats. Hi Mukesh, how much value will be added to a QA profile if AWS Solution Architect Associate Certificate is completed? See, Madhuri, you can add a lot of value, obviously, because in test automation, there are three phases, right? One is your test case, or I will say first the development of the framework or test case development, right? Then is the execution, then the maintenance. So in execution, definitely you will be running on a cloud, or you will be having certain system on premises where you will be running. So in this case, you need a cloud. So if you have a good cloud knowledge, obviously you can add a lot of values. So instead of having a static grid, you can move to dynamic grid. Tomorrow, if you have to set up a grid with Kubernetes, you can easily set up, right? So in testing, we have a limited options to implement all the DevOps activities and all the services that you have covered in your certificate. But in future, if you move to DevOps, definitely this will be added advantage. So don't always think for the short term. You have to create a roadmap for the next 5 years or 10 years, right? So you have to make a plan accordingly. So don't think that you will get immediately result. It's good to have multiple certificates if you can do that. Certificates are good to get the calls, but in interviews you have to uh, give the proper answers. When I used to take interviews, I have seen many people have so many certification, but when I ask questions, they don't have the real time knowledge, because certifications can be cleared with the help of dumps which is available on the internet, right? MCQs. So clearing certification is not a big deal. Getting the proper understanding the use cases is important. Nitish, hi Mukesh, which is better, working in delivery or working as a solution architect? Uh, Generally, like most of the times, I would prefer solution architect. Okay, see, delivery is also fine, but when it comes to solution architect, they have a bigger vision. They understand, right, the complete stack. So I generally prefer solution architect, but depends what is your current role. And when I say business side of the testing, I don't want you to focus only on the one domain or one business area. So you need to understand what is the standard domain, okay, or I will say the business which is like evergreen. I have seen many people, they have a very good business knowledge or domain expertise on a very niche, but now it is no more in demand, or it is not applicable for all the companies. So even if you're planning for a solution architect, you need to understand the common which is evergreen. Okay, like fintech you can take, healthcare you can take, right, banking you can take. So I'm just giving you some ideas, but you need to understand what is evergreen, and try to focus on the solution on these domains. Currently I'm residing in Canada. What are the interview expectation? 4 years experience in QA. See, Gayatri, when we say 4 years of experience, okay, not too much expectation, not very low also. You should be you should understand how to work with framework. You will not be responsible to build the complete end-to-end solutions, right? Framework, architecture, infrastructure, no. But you should be comfortable with in all these areas. So in interviews, they can easily ask few questions from manual testing. They will ask you to write some Java programs, some questions from Selenium, few questions from the test engineer side, few questions from the framework. Okay, some real-time issues, like how did you solve this issue? What kind of challenges you faced? How will you solve this exception? So some are technical questions, some are real-time use cases. Then they can easily ask questions from CI/CD, Selenium grid. So you have to get comfortable in all. Tanya, how to get knowledge of career path that is there in testing? See, Tanya, if somebody is coming from a different domain, okay, you need to understand what are the different levels you can reach. So this is how we motivate somebody who wants to start their career in testing. So this is a dedicated roadmap, the number of roles that you can achieve, the skill set that you have to improve. So you can start, okay, I know about your background, so I can easily vow on this that you can start with testing. And so test automation engineer, senior test automation engineer, okay, now these roles might change, depends on the company profile. Then you can become architecture, first functional test automation expert, or non-functional test automation expert, then automation test architect, which covers all. This will be the roadmap for the next 5 to 10 years, depends on your current skill set. Okay, and once this is done, then you can easily move to DevOps. So career path is good, only thing is you should enjoy this testing process. I have seen many people get bored because after a period of time it will become very repeated in nature. So to make it more interactive, keep adding the new tools or new cloud. Nikita says, any certification which you suggest companies expecting to complete a certificate apart from operation. So Nikita, always mention when you have your development plan or the roadmap, always include one certification every year if it is given by your company. So it's already getting redeemed. You're already getting a lot of time to study, because if you mention or don't cover, it will affect the appraisal cycle. And generally don't only focus on the last month. Okay, generally I have seen people, they've put much activities, and they put more tasks on January, February, March. So what I used to do, I used to do a monthly meeting, okay, or quarterly meeting, and I used to show this is the progress which is happening, so that they should not come at the last day that these are the goals which we discussed, you have not completed, you will not be getting this much, this is your hike. So generally, even if you are not getting a chance to have a monthly meeting, quarterly meeting, at least try to note down and send, this is your monthly progress, quarterly progress, so that you should also be aligned. Because when you write the development goal and you see after 1 year, you will notice you have not achieved nothing, right? Because there's some daily activities which you will be doing, but apart from that, whatever you will be writing, that will not be easy to accomplish if you don't watch it monthly basis or quarterly basis. So when you say the roadmap or the certificate part, in testing side, if you don't have a certificate, you can go for is to qb. If you don't have, if you want to start the certification from Java, you can do that. Otherwise, you can go for one of the cloud certificate. Okay, so it's almost 50 minutes. I will be available for next 10 minutes. I'm going through one by one. So in case if I'm not able to answer your questions, please you can post in the chat right now. I can see it later and reply later, or you can comment after the session. No plan as such, Maru. I had one course earlier that got completed in Feb, but no plans as such. Okay, just a second. Without any doubt, go with Cypress. Maybe how to create this pipeline in Azure. See, in Azure, pipeline creation is very easy. Only thing is the same concept here in GitHub Actions. We have a YAML file there also. Only thing is you need to understand their pipeline structure. The similar thing, whether you have a Jenkins pipeline, uh, whether you have a GitHub Actions, which is again a pipeline, Azure pipeline, that works on the same. It works on the stages. You just need to define the stages in the YAML file. So basically, the three component whenever design any pipeline. The first one is the stages. Sorry, 1 minute. So first one is the number of stages that you want. In each stages, how many steps you want. Second part is the post build action. Once your build is done, what post build actions you want to perform. And the most important part, the agent, where your pipeline will be running. Is it your cloud based nodes, or the agents or the nodes which is connected, whether these nodes are on premise or on the cloud. So these three components are standard across all the pipelines. Key automation, DevOps, which is better for work-life balance for working moms, especially. See, depends on the company. Sometimes even see both the jobs have the equal responsibilities. Only thing is you need to maintain from your side. Few companies they ask employee to run 14 hours, 15 hours, sometimes 16 hours. There are few companies who are very relaxing. You just have to work for few hours and you are good to go. So it's not about the role. Depends on your team. Depends on the manager. Depends on the times. Sometimes you have a very too much work. Sometimes you don't have a work. So testing also very hectic job. Depends how much task you are able to deliver, and it's good. You should create some boundaries, so everybody will try to extract the maximum uh, the usage part. So you should be very professional that this is my time, after this I cannot log in. Sometimes it's okay because of the release, because of the extra pressure, but if it is happening every day, you have to create a boundary or you have to look for some other alternative. But do not only think that testing have a less work, DevOps have less work, or development have more work. No, it depends how you take these things. Okay, so now let me see, Prem, this I need to check. I have never done this in my past, so I need to check this and I can give you my inputs later on this. Nikita, thank you so much. Please tell me any software testing YouTube channel in Hindi, beginner to advanced. Arun, if you want to be here, then don't focus on Hindi. If language is a barrier, then you are restricting too much, because there are a lot of knowledge on YouTube, Udemy, mostly are in English, 95%. So if this language is your barrier, then you have to work on it. because ultimately you will be dealing with your clients in English, right? So you should be comfortable, and you have to get comfortable, no other option. So if this is one of your excuse, then please. But I understand what is your context. Sometimes even I prefer Hindi channels, right? Because I connect easily. But right now you have to get comfortable with the English language if you are starting your career. Python automation. Python good with DevOps. Python with Selenium have a demand. Playwright with Python have a demand, but very less. Can you please upload this video? Maybe I need to check this. I got two offers, UPS and Capgemini. Which should I opt for, bro? So, Vinod, first of all, congratulations for getting two offers during this recession. It's very good. Now, when it comes to whenever you have two offers, do not always compare the salary. Salary is just one part of it. Try to understand the most important part, the work-life balance. Second part, the annual increment. Many companies, they take they hire candidate with very good increment, but if you see the annual increment is 3%, 5%, 10%, right? So again you will into that race after few years. So if the company is the past record, you can check with existing employees, try to find some referrals connection, how their increment cycle, 10%, 20%, sometimes even if you get promotion 30 to 40% you can get when you get promotion. But yearly also you should get decent 10 to 20% hike, then it is good. But 3%, 4% not acceptable. There are few companies, I don't want to call out the name. Apart from that, you have to see multiple things, how much bonus they are giving. Okay, bonus is also important. If they're not giving bonus, it's okay, but check their other offerings as well. Try to negotiate. People don't negotiate. This is the worst thing I have seen. Try to negotiate with HR always. They always have a upper cap and a lower cap. So let's say your experience and your package is in this, but they have a upper cap up to this, you can still negotiate. So this call you have to take personally, but I have given my points. Consider these points and best of luck. Okay. Just now I answered, Vinod. Actually, the lot of questions. That's what I'm saying. I have a lot of questions to check. Few things I have missed. So in case if I missed, sorry for that. But uh, you can always post your question in the chat, even after this live or in the comment section. Okay, I will take the last question. Then we can end. It's too late for me and for you as well. How to learn real-time project on Selenium automation testing for beginner. Anusha, first of all, real-time project, Selenium is not restricted on any application. If you are not having some real-time applications, take some sample applications and automate end-to-end, because it will not be too much difference when you work in real time. Applications, when you change applications, the locators will change, the pages will change, some scenarios will be little added, right? So don't only focus on the application part, understand the concept. Second point, take applications from the different area. So like, let's take one e-commerce application, one CRM application, one basic application. If you are able to automate these three different applications, you can will get a lot of different exceptions, end-to-end scenarios. Try to automate them with the help of framework and build your pipeline. So real-time projects, basically in automation we have frameworks. Using framework you will automate applications. So instead of saying real-time projects, uh, I would say learn framework, build your own framework using Selenium and start automation. Is it mandatory to learn JavaScript for Cypress automation? Yes, Cypress supports JavaScript, TypeScript. So not too much of JavaScript, but 80% Cypress can take care, but still remaining 20% you should have clear understanding of JavaScript so that you can customize. You can create your custom commands in Cypress, because Cypress have a lot of commands, but if you want to add your own commands, you will use Cypress.command, right? So in order to build the custom command, it's good if we have the JavaScript knowledge. Okay, that's all from my side. I hope I answered most of the question. In case if I missed any question, really sorry for this. So I will be taking off now. So thank you once again for joining the session, and I will try to come live probably next week or next to next week. So thank you so much once again for joining the session, and I will see you all in the next live. Thank you so much, Sarang. Thank you, VK Trade. New batch, July 1st or 2nd week, Anisha. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Good night.